Good evening. Welcome to my stream. Things are crazy here like they always are. As you can see, I have a new backdrop. I told you that the other one turned into a muddy mess in the washing machine. So I painted this up. Now it's dry enough. And it's a little more my style. I hope you like it. Today is a huge day astrologically because there is an alignment between the sun and Uranus. What does that mean? It means that this is a great time to break the rules, get free, tell the truth, be weird, be brilliant, be shocking. This is a perfect time for all the focus to be on weirdness and genius and incredible, shocking changes. And this is happening in Taurus. What is Taurus all about? It's all about values, money, Venus, what we care about, what we love, the things that we cherish. So this is the time for us to change what we cherish and change what's important to us and to change our money system, to have our own money system. We can do it. All we have to do is collaborate and talk. That's all. Talk to us. We have solutions. We know what to do. We can create money systems. It's no problem. It's all about you trading with your trading partners, and we want to facilitate that. Okay, I'm under all kinds of constraint right now because I have exposed that the news is just a series of publicity stunts. It's BS. Forget this last one. I've been showing for years. This is just a bunch of tricksters making up stories, and they have so much money because they're all circulating around that central bank, which keeps them going, keeps the lies going. So every single time we make a transaction, they get a piece of it. So it's this one little group that has this chokehold on money all over the world. And because of that, we have to live by their rules. And they lie constantly. They commit crimes constantly. They sent thugs to my house. They killed my mother with their last genocide trip that they came up with. Yeah, my mother was, my aunt called me and said, your mother died, and it was very suspicious. I said, oh, did she take the injection? She said, oh, yeah, of course. Oh, but it couldn't have been that. See, brainwashing. That's brainwashing. Okay, so these people are spectacular at brainwashing. They're the best in the world at brainwashing and tricking people. They've even tricked me a few times. They've subverted me a few times. Just like everybody else, they are the best in the world at tricking people, and they should not control all of the money in the world. Okay, there are all kinds of ways that we can trade with each other. This is the day. Sun align with Uranus. Shocking changes in values. Think about that. So many of the transactions that you do in your community do not have to involve tricksters who lie to us. There should be a trial on about the murder of my mother. And instead of that, I'm under house arrest from the same story. I can't go see, the object of my project right now is Elvis Costello, and I am doing everything I possibly can to show who he is, what he's really about, what he means to me, why he's so important to me and this world. He is like the most important thing right now, not just to me, because he's incredible and he is a leader. He is so much more than that singer. He's so much more than that. He really is Napoleon, and I am proving it. I continue to prove it. I will continue to prove it tonight. If you haven't listened to the memoirs that I've read and find out who Napoleon really was, what his personality was, he was just like Cohen, to the scary details, to be honest with you. They're really similar. I can't believe it. It's hard to see Napoleon as a human, just a human. It's really ours, and it shows me what a horrible situation we've been in, to see how it's affected him and how it's affected me, because we really were Hortense and Napoleon, and we were from a different time, a time very much under the thumb of malicious secret societies. The French Revolution was whipped up by secret societies. It is all over the memoirs. They will not tell you that in school. They will hide that from you. Why? Because secret societies are deciding what BS you're being told in school. Some of it's true, a lot of it isn't. You know what I learned in high school? What I was tested on? Antitrust laws in the United States, and how there's all these laws that prevent monopolies in the United States. I was tested on that in high school. So if I wanted to get the gold apple or whatever, I had to say, oh, there's no monopolies in my country. There's nothing but monopolies. So I went to school and I was lied to. And when I entered the world, I thought I lived in a fair world. I thought I lived in a free country. I didn't realize that I live in this fascist central banker, one world oligarch nightmare, where people like me do not have opportunities. Why? Because I'm not in the ruling class. Oh, okay. That's not what we're told. We're told that we have opportunities. But I learned year after year after year. And I don't get opportunities. I don't get opportunities. Other people get them. I learned that. That was a very hard lesson. I had to learn it. But I learned it, and I realized year after year, I'm being lied to about everything in this country. That I live in the United States is run by criminals. Oh, I've known this. This I can validate left and right, up and down, uncontested. The United States is run by criminals. And guess what? Everywhere else too. So we really need, we really need to get very serious about our futures. Because if they have all the guns and we can just like wait for them to show up at our houses and intimidate us like they do to me. Anyway, so I can't ever see Cohen now. I like to call him Cohen. It's Elvis Costello, King of America, Napoleon Dynamite. I want him to be king of everything. Forget America. That's just a symbolic gesture. I want to be king of everywhere. I think he's great. I think we can look out for ourselves. We can help each other. We don't have to live under each other's thumb. He won't oppress you. I'm sure he won't oppress you. I guarantee you he will not oppress you. We need to talk and collaborate and move forward. And today is the perfect day for that. And the moon is in Cancer. The moon's kind of one of my special astrological objects. For some reason, the moon is in Cancer. That means the moon is in its own constellation. So this is a great time for me. And I'm so incredibly emotional about what I care about. And the moon is your, it's really what motivates you, your feelings. So this is a time when we're emotionally connected, and it's time for big changes in finance. That's what it means astrologically. And I know it's hard to believe that astrology is real, but time and time and time again, I have shown on the blog, this is what's going to happen, expect it. It does happen. The energies are very powerful. Even last December, I was doing this emphasis on Pluto and Venus. And I know I was saying that that's so Elvis Costello because he's so morbid, but not just morbid, passionate and dark and deep and honest. He's a washed in Pluto energy, obviously, and Venus energy, because he's so incredibly charming, and he's such a great artist. And so to me, that's him, Venus and Pluto, and I was talking about it, but Pluto is also big, shocking changes. And then January, his album, A Boy Named If, came out, and I heard all of these astrological references in it, which I did really appreciate. And boy, my life changed. So there you go. I was talking about the planet of change, Pluto, all the time in December, and in January, everything changed. So that's just one example where I couldn't tell you it was going to happen, but I could tell you there was going to be a powerful change involving love, Venus, and there it is. It happened, and I also predicted that they were going to launch this a bioterrorism publicity campaign. I predicted they were going to do something like that in the fall of 2019. I've said this many times. I said the people running things are astrologers, and they're not going to let a transit this big go to waste. I don't think so. I didn't have the understanding of them back in 2019 that I do now, unfortunately. Fortunately that I learned more. Unfortunately that I didn't know more then. But this group's very easy to figure out after a while. And they really believe in astrology. And that's why I thought, well, they beat us, so I bet there is something to it. And I went on that logic in 2019. And I realized this transit that they had in January 2020, I'll say it again, Saturn, the Sun, and Pluto change. And Saturn, structures, government, the establishment, fame, that's the Sun. So they were going to do something very big and restrictive and very transformational to institutions, and something involving a lot of death. When Saturn and Pluto are aligned, those are the malefic planets. That's a very deathly, dangerous, famous thing. And then when I heard they were calling it Corona, I was like, oh, see, they've been putting astrology in it. They're so obvious, okay? And then when you can see by 2019, oh, look what they're about to do. Watch them go. Yeah, I don't want the medical care from it. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. See what I'm saying? I saw them rolling this out. And then they even rolled out a personal publicity campaign in my own neighborhood where this Englishman, it just so happens, was leading all of this noise making, and they were screaming over there like demons, and they were lighting fireworks. They were doing every insane, scary, intimidating, flat out satanic thing you could possibly imagine. And they had children around them to make it like it was just a cute little thing they were doing. The fact that these people use children in their trickery, oh, Stoneman Douglas comes to mind. It's very hard to cope with once you find out the depth of depravity that we're seeing in these people, that they use children, they do horrific things with children. We all know it. Podesta emails. It's all you have to read is the Podesta emails, and then you'll find out how the publicists work, how the bankers run everything, how it's just a little club. You know, they're all. It's very interesting because it's so mundane. It's just this man who's highly intelligent. I shouldn't say his name, I guess, but I have to say it because it's the Podesta emails. Everybody knows about it. Anyway, I will say this if he is watching. He's incredible. He's really smart. He's very professional. He's very dutiful. I mean, I really was impressed with a lot of things about him. I thought he was an amazing person. But, oh, way outside the law. Way outside the law. Wow. But wow, I mean, he's impressive. He was impressive, and all these people are coming to him for jobs. So he's like the Godfather over there, and he could just dispense jobs. Oh, isn't that so easy for him? Because he's got the bankers behind him. See where the jobs come from? They come from the bankers. The bankers choose who gets jobs. And then the bankers hire people like John Podesta and read those emails. They speak for themselves. I've done all kinds of explorations into those emails. And we even have a cartoon inspired by it because the patterns that I found in those emails were exactly like the patterns that are thrown at me. Because I suspected his role in my life many times. I could even almost feel him out there fighting me. He's one of their generals. I can feel it. He's a general in a very dark army. Okay? I know it. And then I went into the emails to verify are these the same patterns? Oh, they were to the bone, to the wall, to the door, to the floor, in every direction. There it was, a perfect match for what they do to me. I was sued twice, but they pretend I don't exist. You see? That's him. And then all the lawyers, because he's a lawyer. See? They use the law system to harass people like me, and they're the criminals, and they have nothing to fear from the law. But I do, because see how it works? So, and this is inspired by a John Podesta situation. I was making these necklaces, just to go into a whole other subject. I was making these necklaces. It's kind of like an old Shakespeare thing. And then I put up on the blog Clinton Cash, which is all about the world to John Podesta and the bankers who fund him, and how they go from country to country and create problems, and then they arm some of the organized crime in those countries, and then they don't arm some of the other ones. They just go into all these countries and just mess them up and exploit them and keep them crippled. And I'm talking about countries in Africa, countries in the Caribbean, South America, you name it. If they've got something they want, they're in there making problems. And then when I was putting up the African warlords, who are the collaborators who work with organized crime out of the city of London, all of these bankers, and they work with the warlords to oppress the people. So that many of these warlords do become traitors to their own people. But they start out, you guessed it, as populists, which is exactly what they tried to do to me. Once I had a little credibility as a populist or whatever, because they pretend I became invisible in 2018, which is a testament to how they operate. They're not honest. If a whole group is pretending something, that's because they're all liars, obviously, right? Anyway, so these traders in Africa, I found out that they wear these kind of necklaces. I thought that was so fun. I was like, oh my goodness, this is crazy. I dress like an African warlord, and I do, but they look good. That's not the problem. They look good. I have to say, if you want the looks, African warlords, they get the hats. Nobody's doing it better than they have the looks. I'm not being facetious. Really, they look good. So I really shouldn't have brought it there. But the necklace, how else can you describe it? It's the African warlord line, but it just worked out that way. Anyway, so I just want to say the lies are insane, and the upshot of all this is that now not only can I not talk to Cohen, if he is indeed Napoleon, which I think he is, I can't talk to the person who's Napoleon right now because I've been blacklisted from his group of people. It's not legal to blacklist me from a group of people that's owned by bankers. That's not legal. That's insane. And every single person who's owned by bankers who blacklisted me, I am sure that just made you more interested and more curious. And I totally get that you guys don't want to, I don't know, be homeless about me. I understand that, right? They don't want you to talk about me, but why would you? You know, it's just that they're controlling everybody with games and lies. I'm just saying, I think part of the blacklisting of me and then having like kind of all the elites to go along with it, I think that was to really inflame me against them because they're always running these like elaborate machinations and stuff. They really are. So I can tell that they want me to like attack celebrities. And because I should be so rageful and resentful because I couldn't get any opportunities. Yeah, it did actually make me rageful and resentful. It works. So congratulations, City of London. You did get me actually very rageful and resentful that I have to always serve this group that gets everything and I can't ever get anything and I can just serve them. And then they treat us like we're not as good as them. You see, this is a dynamic that's being created. This is brainwashing. I'm being brainwashed to be resentful. I'm being created into an angry person. And then they're being created into like spoiled people who don't like appreciate what they have. And then when we interact with each other, we hate each other because people on my side are so resentful, and the people on their side are so like not appreciating anything because they're so spoiled. See, it shouldn't even be like that. We should all be more on the same level. This is being created for us, because even once you get past that kind of spoiled thing, you can see they're just people. We're being made to be this way. It's a rigged game. We would get along. And I think that these plans to create these unhealable rifts in our countries came from before we were born. We're dealing with it's something beyond human. It really might be dark spirits operating over centuries. I said it yesterday. It could be fallen angels. All of us are wondering how they can behave this way. All of these people that depend on money to live, and I'm including the publicists in that, I get it. You have to live. You have to feed your family. I understand. They tell you, oh, go say the sky is purple. Sometimes it is. That's not a good color. Right. They tell you to lie. If you want to live, you have to lie. I get that. I'm not your problem for that. My feeling is you guys should be working with us so we can move past this, because lying as a job is illegal, and sooner or later you guys are really going to get caught. So it's really the time to stop being fascist collaborators, find ways to live, find new solutions. You can do it slowly, but today's the perfect day for this shocking change in values, shocking changes in money. All of you people in the media and the publicity corps and the White House and all these horrible corrupt places, I understand. I'm not after any of you. We're all on our hands and knees to this central bank. It's all been orchestrated. We shouldn't be fighting. We should be dealing with this problem. We can't do anything. And I can't even go see Cohen in concert. I can't travel. I can't do anything because they came up with this story, which is really just a replay of what they did with AIDS. So what they do is they tell you you're sick when you're not, and then they give you medicine that kills you. That's what they did with AIDS. And this is the thing that's so interesting. The person that proved this is a professor named Peter Duesberg, who works at Berkeley, the University of Berkeley, University of California at Berkeley. And this man cracked it, and he figured out that the whole thing was BS. Okay, but they had so many celebrities involved, they had so much money involved that they had to keep that lie going. It was exactly like this. And that's why everyone who cares about reality and the truth should read Peter Duesberg, Inventing the AIDS Virus. And guess what they did to Peter Duesberg? They called him crazy. They wouldn't let him on television anymore. And then Fauci said, everybody ignore him. Whatever. That's what Fauci did. So did Fauci do that to me? Because he did that to Duesberg. It's all over the place. Okay? So same thing, same technique. Fauci. Okay? So Fauci works directly for them. Okay? He is a direct line to the ones that are out to kill us and did kill my mother. So I have to take some kind of liquid into my body that probably killed my mother to go travel and see rock shows. And I can't participate in life. I can't really have a job anymore. I can't really do anything anymore because the Central Bank Genocide Club has a liquid for my body that they want to inject in my body. But it did kill my mother, and now I can't go anywhere. This shows you that we are living under a true satanic regime, only under full-on, exposed, clear-cut Satanism would I be double away from being able to talk to Cohen. I've been blacklisted from his whole segment, his whole strata of humanity. I'm blacklisted from him. His career is over, or his life is over, or maybe people will even be killed if he doesn't go along with their blacklisting of me. And And then on top of it, they came up with a publicity stunt. That means I have to take obviously poisonous liquid, or else I can't go mix with society because I'm a health risk to them. Okay, so that's it's Satanism at that point, and they flip out. Oh, it's been debunked. It's been debunked. No, 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 no. It can't be debunked anymore. Their behavior is so satanic. What is satan? What do I mean by that? I mean just evil and deathly, and they're trying to kill us. And it's like lying is their reason for living is lying. It's like they want to lie. They don't have to lie this much. They're so rich, and yet they lie harder, and then they lie harder. This is a huge problem. So if this is my twin flame Napoleon, and I am proving it, I don't know how else to prove it. Please go ask him. Ask him. I can never talk to him. I can never see him, not even in concert, because the publicists who are owned by the central bankers, they have come up with this story for me. And all of you who are putting all of us under house arrest, and I have to wonder how much the whole world is under house arrest just so they can put me under house arrest, because how can they single me out without making people feel bad for me? Oh, they could do it to the whole world. You see how that works? See, if they just put me under house arrest, well, they did intimidate me and I did stay home. So they had done a wonderful job at just putting me under house arrest like that, but I kept complaining. Okay, and then suddenly the whole world's under house arrest for no reason. For no reason, because they are so good at brainwashing. They own so many screens. So maybe there's one person they wanted to put under house arrest, but they wanted to keep it really quiet. Maybe somebody they blacklisted. Maybe someone that they don't want the world to know about. Sort of like they did with Peter Duesberg. Except I think this is even bigger than that. We didn't find out about Peter Duesberg back then. That was the 90s. That I had no idea. I only found out about the hoax, the massive hoax that was, because they did it again, and they do it periodically. This is one of the things. They make you think you're sick, and then they give you medicine that makes you sick. This is the kind of stuff Nazis probably did at Auschwitz. And it was openly human experiments. So they turned the world into Auschwitz. That should give you an idea of what kind of people they are. Since they're always doing human experiments, they're always altering the way people look, and then they're always killing people with medical treatments. That's Nazis, see? We're living under a Nazi regime, but the Nazis is just one of their little art projects. The real Nazis is our government. The Nazis are like Q, one of their made-up things to destroy countries. Yeah. Anyway, so obviously I'm a little worked up. But if I were free, which I'm not, I would actually go see Cohen in concert. If I were free. But I'm not, because liars make up stories on screens. And then people, I guess, believe them. I don't know if people believe them anymore. I hope not. Anyway, so he's going to be at the New Orleans Jazz Fest. And I am angry and resentful that I can't go. And this is how it's done. So I'm so mad at the, what am I supposed to be so mad at the elites right now for doing this to me? No, I'm mad at the central bankers for doing this to me. That's who I'm mad at. I'm mad at, oh, I can't say names. Whew. I'm mad. I know who I'm mad at. I know exactly who I'm mad at. I'm mad at them. I'm not mad at the publicists who are just trying to feed their families. I'm not mad at the celebrities. I'm not mad at the police who aren't doing their job. I understand why you're not doing your job. I get it. Believe me. And look, some of you guys really are corrupt, and I hope you will repent. That would be wonderful. But our enemies, very few people. I'm not mad at any people. Let's get along. Let's unite. We have no bigger problem than saving ourselves. And just it's so interesting that the whole world's under house arrest, and I'm double prevented from getting anywhere near this person that seems like he's my twin flame Napoleon. Doesn't that seem like one of those amazing coincidences that we only have under this dark regime? So they really don't want me anywhere near him. And I have no idea what's going on his end. I certainly feel I hear him on my end. I know what I hear. But he had to go through a lot of effort to get this telepathic with me, and he knows that. I was I was against him, and I am sorry about that. I really am. I am sorry about that. But I will make up for it. Truly will make up for it. And I will vindicate Cohen. I get it now. I understand. He has been maligned, and he has been maneuvered into a ditch many times. And I have nothing but respect for him, and I understand that he did his best. And I will extend that kind of understanding to anybody. We are all under a very dark regime. We have all, I hope, done our best under extenuating circumstances that no one should have to endure. We've had to watch our countries crumble around us our whole lives. What a terrible thing. We have lived very sad lives because they have this country club dream of theirs, just them, their robots, a few slaves, not enough people to really scare them anymore. There's too many of us, and that terrifies them because they know all we have to do is unite and snatch that bank from them. Then what? Then what? You know, it's that's all. Unite, snatch the bank. Unite, snatch the bank. Today's a day for that, Uranus and Taurus. And they know that. And look what happened with Venus and Pluto last December, because Venus is money. Venus rules Taurus. We are having a change in values. We are having a change in money. It is happening. It happened in December. So it's going to happen now. And we're going to move more towards freedom and being ourselves and looking out for each other. It's a very charitable community type energy. It's weird and it's a little eccentric, but we have that today, and we have the moon in Cancer, so we have a lot of good emotions, powerful emotions to back it up. And on top of that, and that I'm talking about right now, you can feel that energy. There is about to be a very harmonious aspect between Venus and Mercury. Okay, once again, Venus is money. It can be beauty, it can be love. So everything is saying it's time to communicate about money, because Mercury is communication, it's thinking, it's media, it's everything about getting along. This is a great transit for us to get along, because Venus is so pleasing and charming and social, and Mercury can be very communicative. So it's a wonder, almost like a party feeling. So there's a really good time for us to talk to each other and love each other. And it's a really good time to think about what we want and what we value and what we don't want, and the things we want to change, and to make things fairer and more honest. We have all of that right now at our backs, and we just need to know that, to know that we have that power. We have all of the power, all of it. We just have to establish our boundaries. And that's another thing that we actually have happening astrologically. Saturn is in Aquarius, and Aquarius is ruled by Uranus. So we have such a powerful Uranus energy today. And Saturn is in Aquarius, which is a place of Uranus. And I'm telling you what Aquarius is. It's fairness and community and disruptions and changes and new ways of approaching things, especially technology. And then Saturn is there. And Saturn is like the way we're being repressed and walled up and all these stupid rules. But there's a good side to Saturn. That's the bad side. And we are feeling that terribly, because Uranus is Uranus, which is the ruler of Aquarius. It's a very community. So our community is really feeling the horrible oppression that we're enduring, and that can be Saturn in Aquarius. That's actually also happening. But the good side about it is that we can create fairer structures, and we know how to do that. It's administration, it's organization, it's cooperation, it's easy. These things have all been figured out a long time ago. It's not that hard. to look out for ourselves and to care about each other and to help each other and just cooperate and share. Why can't we do that? Because we have this cult that really hates us running money. It's very, 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 very obvious now. And I don't know what we're waiting for. Just enforce the law on the worst criminals, the worst ones, and the ones that really have a body count. Please enforce the law against just them. Just them. You know, just you know who I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? Just them. These are people who have 100 million body count behind them. 100 million. They have that kind of numbers behind them. And they are the ones that have their own planes and they have their own islands and they get to do everything that they want. They don't have to follow any rules. And I'm under house arrest and I can't even talk to my twin flame Napoleon. If he wants to talk to me, I know he does. I know he does want to talk to me. I have no doubt in my mind about whether he wants to talk to me. But why is the world set up so I can't talk to him, or else he's financially destroyed, or there are physical, you know, there's always the physical threats when organized crime is running everything. They're going to come and kill you or your family. You know, I don't know exactly what the problem is, but I know that there is one for sure. Why are we letting this one guy in England decide everything? And it's so to our detriment, it's so to his benefits. One person gets everything. One guy, and then his friends. And then he can just dole it out to all the people willing to do his will. I mean, see how that is? It's all kind of a big witchcraft scam. This one guy has all the money, and then he can get everyone to do all this nefarious stuff for him, and then the whole world is turned into like an evil place because this one guy gets all the money, and all the resources go to this one guy. Why is our world like that? Why are we allowing it? So I'm going to continue proving that Cohen really is Napoleon. I'm sure of it. So this is going to be a letter from Napoleon, who has such a similar voice to Cohen. It's wild. The more I'm hearing Cohen's voice, the more I can see that it's the same voice as Napoleon. So he's writing a very short little letter to his stepdaughter, who I feel was his twin flame, who really was his love, but he made her into his sister-in-law. And his brother was madly in love with her. And the whole problem between them was that she could never love Napoleon's brother. She loved Napoleon. She can't love anyone but Napoleon. She has no ability to love anyone but Napoleon. I mean, that's the story I'm telling you. Please listen to the memoirs and hear this heartbreaking story. She can't love anyone but Napoleon. I mean, she did have I guess a boyfriend or something, and that was a plan, and he was playing her left and right. And you can play somebody when they're that sad. See, they make us so sad, and then they throw us these sexy plants, and then we fall for it because we're so sad. And that's what happened to Hortense. And he disgraced her, and it's disgusting that these bankers send these people out to destroy their targets' lives with relationships. And that happened to her, and that happened to Napoleon many times also, where they were so sad and they were so lonely because they couldn't be together. And then they were sent these perfect people just waiting to get into, pushing for affairs with them. That's how this central bank situation works. That's how they control people. They get a person very isolated and very lonely, and then they throw in an agent that's everything the person wants. That's what Napoleon had done to him with his second marriage to Marie Louise. And it worked because he couldn't be with his stepdaughter, and he couldn't sleep with his brother's wife either. I mean, and he couldn't set that example. He just really couldn't be with her. But he loved her so much. And I'm always trying to say, and it came out in like promiscuity and almost like a love addiction. If Napoleon has an addiction, I think it's love addiction, and I think it's just because he's so frustrated he can't be with his twin flame. And I'm trying to say that that's what's underpinning all of this crazy behavior that you're seeing from, me, I think Cohen, Napoleon, Ortiz. It creates so much anguish and pain, constant anguish and pain, that you can't be with the one who's like your other half. It hurts so much. It literally like makes your whole life sad. And Napoleon was extremely sad, and Hortense was extremely sad. So here, this is actually another miserable, sad thing in the story. Napoleon wanted to marry his family into the royalty of Europe because he was trying to stop the wars. And Hortense like loved her brother more than anything in the world. And Napoleon married her brother to a princess of Bavaria. And Hortense just wanted to go so much to this wedding. Just to get away, just anything, just to show you how similar I am to her. Her husband said no. And well, that's her husband. So he said no. So of course it made her not like him very much. And Napoleon wanted her to be there, wanted their boy Napoleon to be there, and Louis said no, and that was the end of it. So Napoleon was really unhappy about Louis doing this. Louis was always tormenting her because he was so mad that Hortense could just never love him because she loved Napoleon, and she just was constantly punished for this by Louis because Louis was madly in love with her, and it just killed him that there's nothing you could do to make her not in love with Napoleon. She was only in love with Napoleon. It just made Louis so mad. But she says throughout her memoirs, he should have at least just been kind to me at least. I would have done my best. He just became more and more insane because he was so jealous. So this is the dynamic that's here. So Napoleon writes this very short little letter to his stepdaughter Hortense. And he's giving her like the biggest compliment in the world because you're in this world where royalty is so important, and like today where they act like they're not superior but like almost a divinity, like the royals are divinities, or the elites are supposed to be divinities, and then there's the rest of us. This is crazy. This is not real. Anyway, so I'm just saying, it's that world where the royals are the divinities, and they are the most important thing in the world ever. They're the celebrities, the royals. And Napoleon is saying to Hortense, this princess, she's good enough for you. He's paying her like the biggest compliment he can, but it's a super short little letter. My daughter, Eugène, arrives tomorrow, and his wedding takes place 4 days from now. I should have been very pleased if you had attended this wedding. It's too late now. Princess Augusta is tall, handsome, and full of good qualities. In every respect, she will prove a sister worthy of you. 1,000 kisses to Monsieur Napoleon. Napoleon. All right. So it's a big compliment. Pretty big. He adored her. Anyway. So, try to give you a feeling for how good he is eating, how cultured he is, how passionate he is, how sneaky he is about things. He's not going to be direct. He's going to put everything between the lines. Just like Cohen. I don't know how to say that. He's a schemer. Don't mess with him. Don't mess with Napoleon. No way. He's smart, and he's got a long memory. And don't forget, somewhere he's Corsican. Don't mess with Corsicans. We learned that from the memoirs for sure. Corsicans are intense, and you can't enslave them. Napoleon was so proud of that. He's like, you can't enslave no. They were raised and capable of enslavement because they'll die first, and I respect those people. Some just won't take to slavery, and that's the Corsicans. So you wanna back a Corsican for certain things. Anyway, and long memory. I mean, Napoleon would laugh about it. He's like, these people are vengeful. Don't get them mad. That's Corsicans. Do not get them mad. I mean, I know I've gotten a lot of people mad, and I'm probably even some of them are Corsicans. Anyway, Corsica, love you. Okay, so this is about Cohen's preoccupations with military situations, okay? Why? Who else is writing about the military in the late 70s and all the situations thereof? Out of the late 70s, think about that. And I never heard Oliver's Army until the 90s. So this is one of those things. It was a hit, but they didn't let you hear it. Ridiculous. And I think it really is a Napoleonic concern, what is expressed in Oliver's Army. If you don't know about Oliver's Army, again, it's how I hear it, is that they're selling military service like it's a wonderful thing, and it's basically a scam, and Oliver's Army is making it as if it's just such a wonderful career. But we're all being herded towards the military because those wars aren't just going to fight themselves. They have to whip the wars up, and then they have to get everybody involved in them. That's how you get people dead. And then when they're dead, you can just take their stuff. And that's been working fantastic for them. World War II was like that. World War I is like that. Because they control basically everywhere. And then they whip up these horrible problems and then get people to kill each other over them. And then they herd everyone into the military. And then lots of people die, and then they can just scoop up what's left. It's just an incredible business plan for certain types of people. And then those type of people, I don't understand how they're human. So we really need to figure out what's going on, because if somebody gets all this money for whipping up wars, and they control the countries anyway, they're just finding clever ways for people to kill each other. That's hell. That's worse than hell, practically. That they just get us to kill each other, and they're trying to get me involved in it repeatedly. They're trying to get me involved in their warmongering, and I've exposed that. I have shown that these are all psyops. No, I don't want an injection from the people that are constantly whipping up wars. Can you imagine? Oh, but now I can't participate in life because I won't take poison from the people who killed my mother. It's my mother. She was murdered. All these people were murdered. And they're still saying I have to stay home about it. Okay, so exposed. It's over. Is anyone brainwashed anymore? So they woke everybody up, and that is a wonderful Uranus energy. This is a great time to wake up. That's a very shocking, new truth, all of that. Today is the day for that big time. So let's get into the backstory of Oliver's Army. We just heard about the horrible situation in Belfast, and he is describing what has become our present. Okay, so as bad as it was in Belfast, English government again, every single time, doing the same divide and conquer tactics, and creating these military zones. I'm sure these people would love to get along if they didn't have all of these, what? Oh my goodness, how can they do this? Try to destroy our countries? Ireland's a beautiful country. I can't even believe it. And now the whole world is like Belfast, and everybody knows it. I've never been to Belfast, and always respect to Van Morrison, because of Belfast. But they turned the whole world into that, and they did it on purpose, and they did it through media. We have to stop this. Do you want a Belfast world where we're just constantly fighting them? Oh, because they have all the money. Oh, but they have all the money. Oh, I am so tired of fighting. Oh, but they have all the money. Why do they have all the money? What is wrong with us? Why do we let them have all the money? Why don't we just trade amongst ourselves? Why does all trading have to go through their hands? Why? Why are people so brainwashed that there's only this one type of Ponzi scheme money that they use? It's all in the head, see? Mercury. Mercury is in a favorable aspect with Venus. That's money. So you can think differently about money and understand there's a million ways for us to trade. There's a million ways for us to come up with solutions if we pursue them and if we talk to each other, if we cooperate. This does not have to involve me at all. We all can be doing this on our own and finding ways to take back our communities and trade amongst ourselves. Find ways to get them out of our lives, because I can't ever talk to my twin flame Napoleon because bankers in the city of London have plots to turn the world into a country club. Of course, it's always see Agenda 21. Look at the Georgia Guidestones. In the future, we're not in their future, okay? That's clear. I don't know how much more I can show that. Their future has us not in it. So, and that's why I do this. In part, it's very clear they're getting rid of us. What right do they have to get rid of us? Get rid of my mother? They don't have the right to decide who lives and dies. Look, if we let them decide who lives and dies, it's going to be all horrible people, and people like me and Cohen will not be here. That's how they do it. So it's kind of how they make things worse here, is that they kill the good people. Why are we allowing this? Why? England, this is coming from you guys, all right? I know there's heroism in England. I know this, okay? So let's hear about Oliver's army, how you guys were all herded into the military to basically enable organized crime, which is terrible. So I think this is a very worthy subject for an important song, and I hope it has gotten people thinking. So I'm just going to continue. Pardon my rambling, of course. I'd written the words of Oliver's army. By the time our plane landed back in our own little safe European home in London, seeing the youth of the British soldiers patrolling the streets of Belfast with my own eyes had triggered lyrics about the military career opportunity that I'd thankfully never had to take up. The opening lines argued the absurdity of even trying to write about such a complex subject. Don't start me talking. I could talk all night. My mind goes sleepwalking while I'm putting the world to right. The song was filled with contradictions, a jumble of ever-shifting allegiances and imperial misadventures, and about how they always get a working-class boy to do the killing. Some of them Irishmen who, like my grandfather, wore a British Army uniform. It wasn't supposed to read like a coherent political argument. It was pop music. I didn't even turn it on. That is so weird. Oh, yeah, I did. People even told me that the Liverpool fans sing it on Cop and Anfield, although I imagine they might have changed the words a little, as nobody called Oliver would have ever been allowed to manage the club, let alone play on the left wing, thanks to Nick Lowe's insistence that we finished a track that I was about to scrap, and Steve Naive modeling his sparkling piano part on an ABBA record. Oliver's Army became our biggest hit single, stalling at number 2 on the charts, while records by Blondie, Boney M, and the Bee Gees all overtook us at the top of the hit parade. I thought briefly about changing my name again to something beginning with a B. Still, They gave me a gold record for 500,000 sales. If you did that now, you'd be #1 for a whole year. A year after Oliver's Army was released, I deliberately drove the bus off the road to tour British towns that other bands rarely visited. We made a point of including the neglected towns adjacent to the major cities that bands usually hit. So we played Sunderland rather than Newcastle, Merthyr Tydfil rather than Cardiff, and Leamington Spa rather than anywhere else. It was early March when we rolled into the seaside towns of West Runton, Folkestone, and Margate, resorts that were not always inviting during the height of summer, but we were all lit up like Christmas trees and feeling no pain. In Hastings, I got so drunk I couldn't even remember the second line of Allison and had to be led from the stage. After that, we rallied. We refused to wilt at the Floral Hall in Southport and were the main feature at Kinema Ballroom, Dunfermline. We watched people beat the hell out of each other in Canvey Island and at the Dixieland Show Bar in Colwyn Bay and at the Air Pavilion. Part of the audience disappeared through a hole in the floor that had collapsed under an onslaught of stomping and jumping, the pastor dancing. At the Frenchman's Motel in Fishguard, we were told to exit through a door at the back of the stage and had to make a 100-yard dash across the car park to one of the motel chalets that had been pressed into service as our dressing room, while freezing rain drove in off the Irish Sea. Once inside, we found just the pair of single beds nailed to the floor. In that part of Wales, they didn't want you pushing them together and getting up to any hanky-panky. We got a great welcome from the audiences in these towns that had only the faded posters of bands from the late 60s and early 70s on the backstage walls, but some strange disconnection had also occurred. We were just them off the telly to the merely curious, unreal visitors from another orbit. Our new single, I Can't Stand Up for Falling Down, was in the top 5 by the halfway point of the tour. It was exactly the timing that most bands would be looking for. We'd play it, and the place would go wild. Then we'd play Oliver's Army, and everyone would sing along, just like at a Max Bygraves show. For a few split seconds each night, as the smoke and the heat of the lights made it hard to breathe, I get the feeling I was outside my body, observing the scene. I could see everyone bouncing up and down and singing the chorus. I had the uneasy feeling that the words became meaningless after a while, if they even mattered in the first place. There it is. There it is. I'm so glad I'm reading this. I want people to know what he's like. Not that the book's not available, but I do want people to really know his personality. And I just want everybody to just get behind him 100%, because he has horrible people after him and me and all of us. We all have the same exact enemies, but they're after me and him in a special way. There's no question about that. So please, let's support each other. And blacklisting me is not legal at all. So I understand, oh, you just don't talk about me, but it does get to the point where one's humanity matters and doing the right thing does actually matter. And if we all do the right thing, they really can't do anything about it. So why don't we all just make a shocking change, all of us, and do the right thing and tell the truth and change the way we interact with each other and find new ways to pay each other. Wouldn't that be amazing? Wouldn't that be wonderful? And then maybe I could I could not be under finagled house arrest double times over. Isn't that funny? Whatever psyop they come up with, I end up under house arrest. Don't you think that's interesting? You know, it. This is evil. This is an evil regime we're under. I hope people will start to care about that, and I know people do care about that. Anyway, so thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it. Have a good evening.